The Golden State Warriors are off to a bad start. A 3-7 loss for the defending champions means they're well off their pace in the Western Conference, and while there's still a long way to go until the end of the regular season, their rocky start is a cause for concern. However, they've made some long-term moves to ensure the franchise remains in a good place. Let's take a look. Starting with the Warriors making changes in light of their poor start. Despite a fantastic postseason that led to their fourth title in 8 years, the cracks were beginning to appear in the offseason, and it seems that things aren't quite comfortable on the court either. Of course, the situation isn't as bad with the Lakers. The Warriors will be confident that Steve Kerr will turn things around, but there are still some things that the front office will need to get to right away. The entire model depends on the way they keep their young talent and keep adding to it with the help of their star-studded veterans challenging for the championship. But given how expensive these contracts are turning out to be, the Warriors will have to manage their roster very carefully because they don't want more players leaving their talented squad. Due to all that, the Warriors have managed to make some important moves behind the scenes. These moves include securing the futures of some of their brightest young talents, like Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and James Wiseman. They did so by exercising the third-year options on Kuminga and Moody's contracts and the fourth-year option in Wiseman's contract. This is a huge step because it indicates that the Warriors are placing a lot of faith in this trio and believe they can be major pieces for success in the coming years. Adding to that, uncertainty regarding Green and Thompson after extensions. These moves are extremely important for the Warriors as they look to keep their legs fresh in their squad and remain a threat for years to come. Before the trio signed their deals, the Warriors front office was also working hard to convince Jordan Poole and managed to do so on an extremely lucrative contract. This is fantastic news for Golden State, and they will be hoping all of these extensions end up repaying, and there's a good chance that they will. However, at the same time, some players have been left out. Two prominent names are Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. When you have to decide between the future stars and the veterans, the choice is clear, and we can't really blame the Warriors for securing the futures of their young stars. But they'll know that doing the same for their veterans isn't going to be easy. Green's revealed his expectations of receiving a max contract, and there were rumors before the season began of the Warriors finding common ground with Green, but it hasn't worked out, and there's still some uncertainty regarding his long-term stay in California. Similarly, Klay Thompson's future is up in the air as well. While there's no hurry regarding his future because he has an extra year on his contract and can't opt out, it's still a cause for concern because he hasn't received any solid assurance over his future, as per Yahoo Sports. Moving on, could the contract troubles be the reason behind the Warriors' struggles? There was solid belief, up to a point at least, that the Poole-Green confrontation, which got really ugly, was due to the contract extension. Now, we're not ones to speculate a lot, but we can't help but feel that these extension talks could be playing a part in the slow start of the Warriors this season. Of course, that's not completely accurate. The Warriors simply haven't been cohesive enough, and Kerr has to find a way to make it work with the current roster. We've got no doubts that he'll do just that. But in the meantime, it's also entirely possible that this resentment among the veterans in the squad could be a contributing factor in the performances. Plus, the Warriors aren't always impressive in the regular season. They're known for catching fire at the business end of the season. That's when it matters most, but there's no harm in carrying winning form into the playoffs. But as long as Green and Thompson are committed to staying for a year at least, they should be sorting out their issues as soon as possible so that the Warriors can get back to their winning ways. This is still an extremely decent squad, and when it fits, there's no reason why they can't contend. But can they go back-to-back? Let's take a look at that. Up next, can the Warriors go back-to-back? Given their extremely poor start, by their usual standards, to the season, the question surrounding the Warriors is whether they can make it 2 championships in 2 years. What we've learned over the last decade or so has been that you just can't rule out the Golden State Warriors. They are an insane side with some of the best players of the current generation, and they're led by a coach who knows a thing about winning the big prizes, both as a player and as a coach. And then Steph's also explained how the franchise has that championship mindset. We won't disagree with that at all. They've proven time and time again that the Warriors just aren't a side you want to mess with. We love how good they are at what they do, and that's why we won't be ruling them out. Let's talk about a couple of reasons why we think the Warriors will make it 5 titles in 9 years. First up, experienced veterans to shine. Let's not forget that despite the contract troubles, the Warriors were actually without both Draymond Green and Klay Thompson for large parts of the 2021-22 season. Green missed 31 straight games last season, but still had over 7 rebounds, 6.3 assists, 1.1 steals, and a block per game over the 22 games that he played in. These contributions go a long way in determining a title run, and you can't quantify the impact this kind of personality has in the dressing room after a win or a loss. Similarly, Thompson is facing a crossroads in his career. He tore his ACL, and then he struggled with his Achilles, but he's back and he's feeling good. Thompson will be hoping he can get his career back on track with Golden State, and this season should be as good as any to get back to his best. The sharpshooter managed 32 starts in the regular season and a further 22 in the title-winning playoff run, and he'll hope to play the maximum number of games he can get under his belt this time around. And of course, how can you forget Steph Curry? He is the man responsible for dragging the Warriors to that fantastic playoff run and helping them win their 4th title. But he counts as a veteran now, considering he's 34, although his body definitely didn't get a memo for that. Aging, like fine wine, we expect Curry to be up there in the MVP discussions. Secondly, don't forget the young lot. While the 30 and above get the credit for that brilliant run in the postseason, let's not forget that the youngsters showed up when it mattered most. Jordan Poole, in particular, was phenomenal and enjoyed something of a breakout season in 2022. He played 76 games, which included 51 starts, and he averaged 18.5 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Not to mention his three-point percentage was better than the league average and increased to a staggered .391 in the playoffs. Looks like he's learning from the very best. Similarly, the likes of James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga are expected to take their game up a notch. While they might not be at the level Poole is, there are still expectations that they can chip in with their contributions as the Warriors look to mount another title challenge. Lastly, what do the Warriors need to do to turn their season around? We're not experts, and the only person who can accurately answer this question is Steve Kerr. However, from our observations, it would be a good idea for the Warriors to start by fixing whatever contract troubles are brewing behind the scenes. They need to get their veterans focused on the court instead of the off-court discussions. It might have to include some difficult conversations, but better now than later on at the business end of the season. At the same time, they need to find a bit of consistency and the right formation and blend of players that can start every other game at least. There's no doubt that they've got a bit of options to choose from, and that's every coach's dream, but it can also turn into a curse very quickly. But there are few coaches in the league who we trust more than Kerr, and he might just be the biggest reason why the Warriors can go back-to-back. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the Warriors have it in them to make it 5 titles in 9 years and go back-to-back with this one? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.